professional win, as we often talk about amongst the five of us here on the show. And they got the professional win, and part of that was because of the defense of the team overall getting 24 steals. And Tyrese Maxey just got another one, Kyle.
Guys, 2 games in a row we got to hang out. Could you have imagined this last week when it had been 2 months? Yeah, so I think the first half of that game was probably super frustrating for everybody. They go into halftime, down 5 points. And I think a couple things flipped in the second half. One, they were ruthless with hunting Johnny Furphy early in that second half, particularly using the VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid ball screens. And Nurse talked about that decision and that action after the game. I specifically was like, hey, what did you guys see there? And I think it's something we've seen in the past in some other games where having Maxey one pass away, having VJ come in to his dominant right hand off the screen, go in middle. If they don't send help, he's got a clear lane. If they show help from Maxey's guy, he's got a guy one pass away. And then Joel's there on the left block, which is his favorite spot, if he's got the open pocket pass. And so that's where the game started to turn. But then it did turn into, Tyrese just had a tremendous defensive game. Obviously, probably the best defensive game in terms of steals of his career, one of the best Sixers games ever on that front. So credit to him for that. And then he also just carried the offense down the stretch when they finally made the choice to stagger lineups, which I'm sure you guys were being driven as crazy as we were in the first half when it was VJ and then it was Watford, Walker, Bona, and Grimes. It's a tough spot to put VJ in. So order was restored in the second half. They ultimately walk away with a win.
Kyle's joining us here in overtime, everybody. Make sure you head over to allphly.com for the remainder of the show. Thank you on the television side. We'll see you tomorrow on the Fast Channel, 6:30 pregame, Sixers, Suns, back-to-back for both teams.
Kyle, just with all the steals that the Sixers had tonight, it kind of reminded me of Nick Nurse's Raptors teams where they couldn't shoot, but they made up the deficit just because they took good care of the ball as well, but they also just turned Indiana over 22 times. I guess 2 things on that. Did Nurse talk about just their general ability to create chaos? Because I know there's a little bit of a balance there, right? You don't want to leave shooters open, and that's can be a source of consternation for fans. And then the other element, how much talk was there about Maxey's role in that as well? Just getting 8 steals tonight. He was all over the place, creating offense. So I guess, can you tackle that point from both the team perspective, but also from Maxey's perspective specifically?
Yeah, so I do. Nurse talked quite a bit about the Maxey component of it and did note it's like, look, it allows us to play more aggressively, to send help from other places where he's making these plays without necessarily putting himself in jeopardy of getting beat backdoor a lot. And I think he's able to keep the defense whole while still being a defensive playmaker. I think the impressive thing tonight and most of this season is that the steals come in different scenarios. Like there's obviously the ones where he's just faster than these guys and he gets into a passing lane and gambles at the right time and gets it. But he had some blindside plays tonight. Like he ripped TJ McConnell from the blind side. That's not a guy who you think of as like he's a threat to turn the ball over. TJ is very much a take care of the basketball, get you into your offense type of point guard. And so he's able to blow up a play like that. And the help defense, I think, is better than it's ever been. And Tyrese also talked after the game tonight, and he's talked about this throughout the year, just about the evolution on defense through film work and, learning guys' tendencies. And just the more basketball that you watch, that the more you can pick up on something in the game. Like, hey, this guy really likes to go left out of this action, or maybe this guy likes to pull up from the mid-range here. And so I think that's been a big part of it for him, is having a good understanding of what everybody is good at and wants to do. And so I give him just an insane amount of credit for how good he is on that end now, because we've talked about it on the show. You look at some of these other high usage guards around the league, some of them are just mailing it in on that end. And not only is he not mailing it in, I think he's been a positive force for good basically the whole year. So that's awesome by him.
Kyle, with Joel Embiid playing tonight, from your pregame conversations, of course, with Nick Nurse and also postgame, Does it seem like this was the play one, sit the other, so the other can play on the second night of a back-to-back with Paul George being potentially in the lineup against the Suns?
Yeah, we didn't talk about Paul specifically. I did bring up, and I think you guys hit on it pregame, that Nurse had noted that maybe playing a back-to-back could be in the cards for Joel down the road, but it's not right now. So it does seem like, without getting explicit confirmation, that it was a play Joel tonight, use him for however much you can use him, and then Paul's coming back tomorrow. Like, there's been no indication that this was anything other than Paul sits tonight, he's available for the second half. And frankly, the tougher half, the Phoenix Suns have been, I heard you guys talking a little bit as I was coming in. Phoenix has been a tough team this year, well-coached group, just like Indiana is. They just have a little bit more available talent.
And with what you saw from Embiid tonight, just lay it out for us. Getting to that 30, the hot and cold that we talked about, 5 for 5 to begin. Slow start cold in the second quarter without a field goal. But then, even though he was 2 for 6 in the third, got to the free throw line, fourth quarter made enough shots as well to help close this one out. What did you see?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of these games for Joel where he hits his first 5 shots and then the shot is just completely absent for a while. But even before he's able to get to the free throw line in the third quarter, like you're talking about, Devon, I think that his piece of that 2-man game with VJ, where he's big presence as a screener, he's going to draw 2 certain times, right? So if they drop too far, then VJ's got the angle to go. And he did a very good job of, I know he got called for 1 moving screen, but did a good job of manipulating there where VJ was able to get to his left, I think once or twice, got fouled, got to the free throw line. And so there are different, I think, combinations that are kind of going to come out of those looks. But I thought it was it's weird because he had 39 and 4. Mm-hmm. I thought that was like a workman-like Joel Embiid game where he wasn't dominant, and there were stretches where I think defensively especially, I didn't think he was particularly locked in, but it definitely felt like old Joel in that he knew he was going to be able to get his when he needed to, and he exerted just enough to get them a comfortable win tonight.
Kyle, last one for me. Was that the best you have seen from Kelly Oubre since his return?
Yes, and common theme here, as we talked about Johnny Furphy earlier, he got going because first 2-3 possessions of the game that he just said, that guy's on me, I'm going right through him. And so you guys know sometimes all it takes is you start off well, you get a couple shots to go down, even if they're layups, that's something that you can ride that momentum the rest of the game. And frankly, it's a good thing that he's starting to pick it up, because I think Quentin Grimes has been in a bit of a funk here, and he had a particularly rough one tonight, and they need a little bit of punch off the bench. I will say, I don't know if you guys talked about this, I was pretty surprised they brought Jared McCain back just to have him not play this game. Nurse had said they need the reinforcements for these 2 games, but it was like, the reinforcements for whatever it was, 47 seconds that he played in this game tonight. So they got some good contributions from the bench. Like Jabari Walker brought a bunch of energy. Adembona, I thought, had some nice defensive moments. But Oubre and Grimes are their path on a normal night to like real bench scoring. So I guess if you get it from one of the 2 of them, you're probably going to end up in a good place.
So you and I have talked about this, that whereas Grimes is like, I honestly don't think there's any rhyme or reason to his shots going in, or like shot quality does not matter with him. Like it might go in, it might not. He might fall into the first row, he might not. Like, it's one of those things. Like, at least Kelly, it's understandable when he gets somebody like Furphy and they play a lineup like they did tonight. Like, when they put the worst defender on Kelly Oubre, he can get cooking as an ISO scorer a little bit. It makes a little bit more sense. I think you can plan around that a little bit more. With Grimes, you have no idea.
And Rich, you know what shot I feel? I have no idea what the numbers say. I feel super confident on transition threes for Kelly. Yeah. Like, I feel like those specific shots, he hits way more of them than you'd expect. Now, in the half court, playing out of the corner where he's just a spot up guy. But for whatever reason, I know he's hit at least 2 or 3 recently where it's VJ pushing the pace, Kelly on the left wing. VJ doesn't have anything initially, kick it back. Kelly knocks it down. And so, like, look, is he going to be the most reliable shooter out there? No. But I think, to your point, his ability to slash, and if he's got a mismatch, take advantage of that. That's important, especially down the road in the playoffs, where Hunt the Bozo is not always going to be able to be, hey, Tyrese Maxey gets whoever he wants. It might be your second, third, or fourth option has to go and take advantage of somebody.
Yeah, and like with Kelly, he can hunt the bozo within the flow of the offense too, which is nice. So yeah, it's good.